Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing an end of year writing plan goal video. So I never made a writing goal video at the beginning of the year because I honestly didn't even know what my in-depth goals actually were. But I've managed to accomplish a lot in the first 7 months of the year, and I have a lot more planned for the rest of the year. But if you want to be caught up on everything that I've done so far this year, definitely make sure to check out all of my writing vlogs. For the majority of the year, I've been doing weekly writing vlogs, which has been so exciting. I've really been enjoying doing that format as opposed to my usual monthly writing vlogs. But if you want to go check those vlogs out, I will link them up above in the cards or down below in the description. But basically, I'm going to be talking about my plans for August all throughout December. So just for a quick rundown of my year so far, I applied to Author Mentor Match, which is a mentorship program where you submit the first 50 pages of your book along with a query and synopsis for the chance to be picked by a published author or agented author to kind of mentor you, help you revise your book, and help you start the querying process. So I applied for that in January, I got in February, and immediately started revising my novel Reasons Why Not To, and I've been doing that for the majority of the year. And then once those revisions were done, I switched to my other novel, The Show Must Go On. I reread it, I re-outlined it, I did the revisions for it just last month in July. Again, like I said, you can go check out the vlogs if you want to actually see the process of me doing all those things. But just so you know, I've done a lot so far this year, and I'm really proud of myself. But there is one other project that I desperately want to work on this year. Like, when I say desperately, I mean desperately. Like, it is the only thing that I've been thinking about. It consumes literally every part of me. Every single thought is about this book. I literally listen to the playlist any chance that I get. I'm always in the Pinterest board trying to find new pins to add. Like, this book consumes every thought. I'm constantly writing notes in my phone for it with like ideas. The abbreviated title that I've been sharing with you all is AMS. This project has been in my head seriously since early mid last year. I think it was probably around April or May that it kind of popped into my head. It was something that I wanted to write for a while, but I didn't have like an actual plot or idea for it until around that time last year. I think this might be the longest that I've ever let a book simmer in my head for before writing it, and I feel that it has been completely necessary and so helpful to let it sit for so long because it is my most ambitious project to date. I am doing a lot of things with this book that I've never done before, and I'm honestly terrified to work on it. It basically has dual timelines, or at least it does right now. There is the possibility that I won't end up liking it and we'll change it to just a singular timeline, but for right now the book is going to be split into a then and a now timeline. So the then chapters will be chronicling my main character's friendship with somebody, and then the now will kind of be chronicling her journey after that friendship has abruptly ended and she's fighting to try to get it back. It's loosely based off of something that I went through in high school. I had a friend who abruptly stopped talking to me, and it was really heartbreaking, and it kind of like shaped the rest of my high school experience because I would have to see them every single day but like not be able to talk to them, and it was really hard. And so I was like, well, if I had to go through that kind of pain, I'm gonna write a book about it. So here we are, and I am literally so excited for this project, and I'm finally going to draft it this year. But before I do that, there's so many things that I have to figure out and do. If you want to kind of know more about my outlining process for a book, from the brainstorming stages to creating characters to the actual outline, I have a whole 3-part series on my channel talking about how I outline a book. I'll link it down below and up above in the cards for you to check out. So just based off that, I have a lot of steps still to go. But right now the end goal is to draft the book in November. But let's start with what I'm gonna do this month in August. So currently I am on a bit of a writing break. I just finished Camp NaNoWriMo, but since I've pretty much been go since the beginning of the year with writing, I thought it was time to take an actual scheduled break to focus on other things. I want to focus on YouTube because I have let it fall to the wayside. I used to be able to do 2 to 3 videos a week, and lately I've only been doing 1, and it's been writing vlogs, and I really do miss filming more consistent YouTube videos. I also also want to get more into reading again. Really the only reading I've been able to do recently is rereading old favorites because I just don't have the brain capacity to read other things. I have a lot of like cleaning I need to do in my room and, you know, hanging out with friends. Like there are things that I want to do that I've kind of been pushing to the wayside in favor of writing more, which is great. We love writing. I'm so proud of everything that I've done, so happy that I've been able to accomplish everything I've done, but it has come some sacrifices of my mental health and me feeling very run down and burnt out, and I really need this break. So the first 2 weeks of August I am taking primarily off of writing. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it because, like I said, this book is consuming my every thought and I am itching to work on it. So if I can squeeze in some time, I might let myself brainstorm a little bit and like fool around with it. Basically August through September I'm going to be focusing on doing brainstorming and character profiles and maybe a bit of outlining, maybe. So I've already started doing some work. This is what I was doing before I started working on The Show Must Go On again, because it was my original plan to work on this book. I had no plans on working on The Show Must Go On this year. It just kind of happened, but I already have done some work. So this is the notebook that I'm using for this project, and there are already pages upon pages of brainstorming. Almost every idea that I have for this book is written in here. Some are still on my phone that I haven't transferred in here yet, and some are in here. So I have character profiles, which I'm not going to show you because it has the title on it and I haven't yet released the title, but I have character profiles started for the 3 main characters. There are some blank spots in them that I need to work out, and I need to kind of dig a bit deeper into the love interests specifically because there are 2 love interests. I'm very excited, but I've already started their character profiles. So basically in the next couple of months I'm going to want to flesh them out, finish them off, and also create character profiles for the other characters. I'm going to to figure out my main character's grandparents because she lives with her grandparents. Also a bit about her parents, even though they are not present in the story. I also need to figure out the love interest's family. There's also like a friend group that isn't that present, but I obviously need to know some stuff about them. And there might be a teacher figure as well that I need to figure out. I just haven't decided yet. So there are other character profiles that need to be done, but these 3 are going to be the ones that are the most in-depth and the most detailed because they are the main characters. I also have already started brainstorming the timelines and what's going to happen in each timeline because I was really struggling. Like, I know the overarching story that I want to write, but I didn't know details. So right now the now timeline is the most figured out, but I do have some planning for the then timeline. I also have like some questions for myself that like I need to figure out. I know how each timeline is gonna like roughly end, like what I want the end game to be. So I've got that. So I already have some brainstorming, some plot done, some characters done, but basically over the next couple of months I just want to flesh everything out. I want to figure out exactly what I'm doing, figure out all of the characters, know who they are, and just make sure I have those kind of details solidified. I also want to do some research because there are some things in this book that I'm gonna have to research. Both the love interests are Asian. One is Chinese, one is Japanese. I am obviously neither of those things, so I'm gonna have to do some research on that. I also think that one of the love interests' sister is gonna be deaf. Like, I already know some sign language because I was trying to teach myself, but I'm gonna do some specific research on deaf culture itself and also do research on how deaf people can interact with the music, because music is going to be a huge factor in all facets of this book. And I know from watching like Switched at Birth, which is a show with deaf characters, that deaf people can play instruments, can listen to music, but I just want to make sure that I represent it in the best way possible, because also I am not deaf, so I don't know what it actually feels like to be deaf. I'm gonna have to do as much research as I can for now and do sensitivity readers at some point down the line to make sure that everything is accurately portrayed. So lots of things. Then in October is going to be where the main outlining comes into play. Might have to do some of it in September. We're going to kind of see how prepared I am, how much work I can actually get done, because like I said, this book is my most ambitious project to date that I'm trying to write. So I feel like it's going to be a lot of trial and error. I already know the first draft is going to be really messy and is not going to be what it looks like in my head because it is such a different project than anything I've written before. So I don't know how difficult the outlining is going to be. So I want to try to start it as early as possible because I do have quite extensive outlines, and I just have a feeling that this one is going to be pretty extensive. The tentative goal right now is to start it in October, but ideally I would like to start it in September, but I need to do the outline. So right now the plan is to write the outline in chronological order, so with the timelines intermingled, how they're going to actually be in the book. I don't know if that's going to be possible. I might have to outline each timeline separately and then piece them together in the outline, which is fine. That actually might be a better idea, but regardless, at the end of it, the outline needs to be in chronological order so that I can reference that when I'm writing. And I think in the outline, I'm gonna write the different timelines in either alternating colors or doing one in bold and one in non-bold. That way I can like immediately see which one is which. So like, for example, the then timeline could be blue and the now timeline could be pink. I don't know. Or, you know, the then timeline will be not boldened and the now timeline will be boldened. I have no idea. I'll figure it out when I'm outlining and figure out what actually works best for me. Maybe the bold and non-boldened will be the right choice. I don't know. That's kind of speaking to me right now as I'm talking. But just so I can like see right off the bat which one is which without having to like actually look at it too hard, if you know what I mean. But yeah, the month of October is going to be working real hard on that outline. But like I said, I am hoping to work on it in September because it's kind of my tentative goal to draft the then timeline of the book possibly in October. Because what I haven't said yet in this video is the then timeline is currently planned to be only in email formatting, because with my main character and the then timeline's love interest, they exchange emails all the time, and it's going to be present throughout the entire book. It's going to be present in a different way in the now timeline than it's going to be in the then timeline, but it's currently my plan to have the entire then timeline told in an email format. Can I do that? I have no idea. But that's just kind of been what I've always envisioned the then timeline being. I might draft it and then figure out, no, there needs to be narrative in between these emails. Or I might figure out, hey, I don't actually need this timeline at all. I just needed to know it for myself. Like, the readers don't need to see this. I needed to see it. So we're going to see what happens. But I'm going to write it the way that I envision it in my head, which is completely email formatting. And we'll see how that goes. But the plan is to draft the then timeline, all of the emails in October, so that I can go into November, which is going to be NaNoWriMo, and the plan is to participate in NaNoWriMo and draft 50,000 words of the now timeline, which will hopefully bring me to like the end of it. It kind of depends how lengthy the emails end up being and how many words they are, because I'm planning for this book to be around 80,000 words. I've also never played around with obviously dual timelines, like I said, so that means that I have to tell a full story for the now timeline in not 80,000 words. I have to tell it in probably more like 50 or 60,000, just because I don't think the then timeline, since it is an email format, I don't think it's going to take up too many words, but who knows? I have no idea. This is completely a learning process at literally every step of the way. I forgot to mention that in the planning stages that I'm thinking of doing this month, and maybe also bleeding into September a little bit depending, is I have some inspiration books that I want to read to prepare me for writing this book. So these are currently the inspiration books that I have gathered to help me write this book. 4 out of the 5 of them are rereads, which is why I know that they could be helpful for this. But the first one has to do with the email formatting. It is Love Creekwood by Becky Albertalli. This is a novella in the Creekwood world, so it's a story completely told in email formatting, which will hopefully be very, very helpful for the then timeline writing, because I'll be able to see how Becky Albertalli told a complete story in emails. It'll be very interesting. The other books deal with either dual timelines or like lost friendships. So we have Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is a book I just bought, and this one will be helpful in both aspects, I think, with a dual timeline and also a lost friendship. I think that's what this entire book is about. So I'm gonna be reading this month hopefully, and I'm very excited about it. I do love Christina Lauren. Of course, this is an adult novel, so it's not gonna be quite the vibes I'm going for, but I think it's gonna be helpful regardless. And then we have the other rereads. So we have History's All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. This one is gonna be helpful for the dual timelines. It's told in a history and today timeline, which is gonna be really helpful, and I've been really wanting to reread this book anyway, so this is gonna be great. And we have How to Love by Katie Catogno, which also deals with that that dual timeline. And this one's like the lowest priority book, but it's Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett. This one does not have the dual timeline, but it has that lost friendship vibe going on where they are like thrust back into each other's lives. Like I said, this one is the lowest priority because I think it's the one that connects the least to my story in the way that I want to tell it, but I figured I will throw it onto this list anyways. If I get to it, great. If I don't, it's whatever. But these are books that I want to read over the next month or so to help me with this book. I'll take notes on them and hopefully just gain some inspiration on how to do a now and then timeline story, because I'm really freaking nervous for it. So we'll see how it goes. Back to actually drafting the book though. So like I said, I want to do the then timeline hopefully in October and do the now timeline in November. We'll see how that goes. It might not end up working out that way. I might end up having to do both timelines in 1 month, and that should be okay. Maybe, I have no idea. Or maybe start it in October, finish it in November, and then write the other timeline. I don't know, but like I said, the plan is to write the timelines separately. So I'm gonna write the entire then timeline in one go, and then I'm gonna write the entire now timeline in one go. And then, because my outline will be in chronological order with the alternating chapters, I will then be able to piece the book together to be cohesive and in chronological order. I also am going to be writing them in separate documents just to kind of keep everything organized, and then I will bring them together in one cohesive draft one document. That just feels best in my brain for how to go about doing something like this, because I don't think I could write it alternating chapters. Like, I just want to get like the cohesive timelines written so that I don't have to pull myself out of the story that I'm telling to write a different timeline. Do you know what I mean? Does that make any sense? I don't know. I just think for me it makes the most sense to do the alternating timelines separately and then put them together after the fact. So that's the plan from August through November, and then the plan is for December to take a break and not do anything. So hopefully everything goes according to plan and I can do that. But this is a tentative plan. All of these plans I just talked about are very tentative because I don't know what's going to happen in the remainder of this year. Things could change or adjust, or, you know, everything is just up in the air right now for me personally, and I don't know what this year is gonna hold. So if things change and I end up with more work than I plan, if I have to jump back to an old project for whatever reason, then I will deal with that. And I think I'm just gonna try to do 2 projects at once if it comes to that. But this is the plan that I am setting for myself. This is what I am excited about. This is what's going to be going on, and I'm just going to hope for the best and hope that I can do it, because I am really excited to finally be drafting this book. Like, it's literally all I can think about, like I said, so I am so excited about it. So yeah, hopefully this goes well. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed talking about my plans kind of more in depth than I would be able to if I were to do a writing vlog. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below what some of your goals or plans are writing wise for the remainder of the year, because I'd really love to know. Subscribe if you have not yet already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.